e5 is knight f3 develops the knight toward the center, attacks the e5 pawn and prepares to castle. The Ponziani opening starts with c3, which allows white to try for a quick d4 pawn push at the cost of a developing move. Their bishop moves into the game. This move opens the path for your bishop to enter the game. Their better move was to add a defender to a vulnerable pawn. You get a chance to kick a knight. You won a pawn for free. That's playable. Your opening setup is taking shape nicely. Now you have to have isolated doubled pawns, which ruins their structure. A clear recapture. You can pick up a free pawn. Not the best move, but not bad either. That's not a mistake, but they did not find the best move here. Very good choice. Decent move, but they had a better one. You left your knight vulnerable to being captured. They overlooked an opportunity to capture a vulnerable knight. You exchange pieces of equal value. A straightforward recapture. Yes, this is the way. Your opponent develops their rook off its starting square. You develop a bishop, which means you move it from its starting position. They blocked the check from your bishop. You trade off equal material. A clear recapture. You're going to end up losing a bishop. They found a way to win your bishop. You recaptured the piece. A straightforward recapture. Clearly, you don't want to leave your pawn in danger. This move puts their knight on a safer square. With that move, you chase the knight away. They are threatening to win a pawn through a fork. You overlooked a better way to take an open file with a rook. You are going to lose your pawn to this fork. This was the only move. This move left their knight hanging. They overlooked an opportunity to capture a free pawn. Oops, you gave up a pawn. You overlooked an opportunity to capture a free knight. You can pick up a free knight. They had a better way to capture a free pawn. You captured that free knight. Their better move was to bring the last piece into the game. You moved the bishop to a better square. They moved their king out of the check from your bishop. This move is okay, but not what I would have played. I like their choice. You block the check from an opposing rook. They exchange pieces of equal value. A logical capture. They bring their final piece into the game, fully mobilizing their position. Your best move was to take an open file with a rook. They played the strongest move available. This move loses a bishop. They took your bishop for free. You're kicking their rook out of a useful square. They move the rook. You dodge the check, moving your king out of harm's way. You found a safer square for your pawn. Your opponent set up a fork which will win your pawn. You step your king away from the checking rook. They made one of the top moves in this position. Your pawn reaches the back rank and promotes to a queen. They took your queen for free. Your last piece has joined the game. They played one of the best moves here. You escaped the check from the rook. They missed a chance to win a pawn through a fork. You dodge the check, moving your king out of harm's way. This move left their rook hanging. You overlooked an opportunity to capture a free rook. You can pick up a free rook. You captured that free rook. Their knight becomes less active on this square. Well done, an excellent move. That's playable. You had a better option, but this is not bad. They move their king out of the... Good job, that's what I would have played too. Their knight is now on a more active square. Your rook is undefended, so this move loses material. Capturing your hanging rook? Your opponent has to watch that passed pawn. You are now able to kick a knight. The only move, and you found it. You kick the opposing knight with a pawn, forcing it away. A correct move to get their knight out of harm's way. You stood equal, but that move is losing. Your opponent had only one good move there, and they missed it. You stopped your opponent from being able to win a pawn through a fork. There was just one move that worked for them, and this wasn't it. You get a chance to promote a pawn to a queen. Your pawn made it to the promotion square. I like their choice. You defended your pawn by pinning the attacking piece. That's not a mistake, but they did not find the best move here. This is a fine move. Your opponent's move wins your pawn. Good job stepping in to defend your pawn. They move their king out of the check from your queen. Oops, you gave up a queen. Capturing your hanging queen. Not the best move, but not bad either. They found a way to win your pawn. You escape the check from the knight. Your opponent's move wins your pawn. That was a fair trade. A clear recapture. Ouch! You left your pawn hanging. They move the knight to safety. You have an isolated pawn, which can be a weakness. They've made a mistake, and their knight is now lost. This move wins a knight. Their better move was to recapture a piece from a previous move. You are now able to create a passed pawn. This is the only move that works, and you found it. You made a passed pawn. It was a balanced game, but now you have a winning position. Your passed pawn is one step closer to promotion. You are going to lose your pawn to this fork. You dodge the check, moving your king out of harm's way. They took your pawn for free. You overlooked a better way to evade the check from the opposing knight, moving their threatened knight to safety. You step your king away from the checking knight. You are now able to promote a pawn to a queen. Your pawn now promotes to queen. This move is dropping a knight, though it doesn't change their losing position. This move is okay, but not what I would have played. Your opponent is losing a knight, but you were already in a winning position anyways. Nice fork, you'll be winning a knight. Their king steps away from the check by your queen. You captured a free knight. They had a better way to evade the check from the opposing queen. There was a moment to punish your opponent's error, but you let it pass. That's quite an error. Now's your chance to capitalize on it. You missed a chance to punish your opponent's error. They missed the right idea here. Makes your life much easier. You continue the checkmate attack. They made one of the top moves in this position, getting closer to the forced checkmate. They played one of the best moves here. You're still on the road to checkmate. I like their choice. You continue the checkmate attack. They made one of the top moves in this. You're still on the road to checkmate. Precise move from. You continue the checkmate attack. They move their king out of the check. You're continuing down the road to checkmate. They are right on target. You continue the checkmate attack. That was the only move. Your move gets closer to checkmate. You overlooked an opportunity to checkmate the king. That was the only move. Getting closer to the forced checkmate. Checkmate is always the best move.